This gentleman here is Dr. Klaus Fischer. Some of you met him yesterday. I met Klaus on a medical congress that I went just to give adjusting experiences. And I met Tobias and Hagen and Klaus. And they've been in my life ever since, so I have to say it was one of the most amazing things I ever did as a medical congress, and I have no idea what went on there. Just adjusted them and talked, and no, but events happen. Anyways, Klaus is, what I'll say affectionately, our man on the inside. There's a lot of things that are happening, and it's not to do anything negative. We've been talking a lot, and I have to give Hagen a credit for this term that we still haven't come up with a unique name yet, but we've all been talking quite a bit for years, and Hagen coined it perfectly. He said, hybrid. Hybrid. A hybrid profession, which may sound sacrilegious to some of you. We'll say the thing that's coming that has no name, but it's something that myself and these three guys, Dr. Pianta, my Italian friend right there, we've been talking about, and we're beginning to move something forward to move the big ball forward. And it's really going to be this amazing doctor right here that's going to be the guy that's really going to determine if this is going to move forward or not. So I want him to share his story a little bit, and when if he gets to an end, I'll ask him some more questions. But you know, like when I'm around all these guys that are my guys, we can just talk, and talk some more, and have some food and some wine, and just keep talking. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Klaus Fischer.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the people stayed here yesterday in the evening. They learned or knew me a little bit about my story. During my lifetime, I had several contacts with Chiropractic. And like I said, when I was thinking about or asking about Mark, what he expected me to show here up or do some slides or whatever, he said, no, I just want the people listen to your story. I think about that, well, I was treated, or I got chiropractic care when I was a young adult from, I think, 12 or 13 years old till 18 or 19, because our house practitioner told my parents, your boy is going to develop a scoliosis. And therefore, I had chiropractic care for more than 6 or 7 years. And thinking about this, I recognized this guy was serving me. I think he was 75 years old when he started, and he was a colleague that graduated from Palmer. So I got really good chiropractic care, not just the German usually stuff. Yeah, sorry, no, but and after this, having this really good care, I started playing football, doing more sports and weightlifting, and then I went into med school, and I didn't think about chiropractic anymore. But during starting my education as a physician, and doing my doctor thesis, I always stick to the spine. I told you I got the Mario Boni Prize of the Cervical Spine Research Society in 1992. That was just at the beginning of my career. And I spent the first years in Switzerland at the Kantonsspital St. Gallen. And my first professor or mentor was Professor Margal. He was a world-known, famous spine surgeon. And he developed things nowadays are in spine surgery. They are just commonly used. but at that time they were really new. And from there I went to Bochum, to the biggest workers' compensation trauma hospital in Germany, the BG Klinik Bergmannsheil Bochum. We have a department of trauma surgery with 270 beds, including a spinal cord injury as well. And I spent about 4 years in the spinal cord injury department and did the schedule and all the trauma for the spine together with these surgeons and with the trauma surgeons. And knowing or getting all to know about the spine, my professor sent me to the orthopedic department as a rotation for half a year just to get into the conservative treatment of the spine, just to avoid maybe spine surgery and learn what's in med school, what do you know about conservative treatment, back school, injections, pain therapy, and all these things. And the Professor Kramer there, he told me, well, to improve your education and to improve your exercise and all these things, just to get a better feeling, do the courses for the Manuelle Medizin and chirotherapy. This is the German education for doctors going to chirotherapy. And I did all these courses in 2003. But I didn't practice it because there was no time in the hospital because I was working in the trauma department. So, but it was very useful just to exclude the patients we do not have to operate on. Following this, I decided I go to the orthopedic department back as a consultant, and I learned quite more things about conservative treatment. And from there, I go to an ANOA clinic. Adrian mentioned it yesterday. ANOA there are 9 hospitals in Germany. They did conservative treatment, pain therapy, physiotherapy, and all these things to treat people with chronic back pain. But what you can imagine and what I recognized very fast is it doesn't work. It works in the hospital where these people are in a secure setting, but it does not work in an ambulatory setting, yeah, because there is not the structure. And the main thing is, and I'm talking about Jean-Paul Pianta before this, we think and we focus on some things or some numbers or whatever, and we can't get them out of the mind. And what is in German pain therapy, what is the daily thing these people have to do? They just have to decide, oh, how big is my pain, number between 1 and 10, and they have to write it down every day 3 times. So we fix them on their pain schedule. And like at my hospital or our hospital in Halle now, at the BG Klinik, the anesthesiologists doing the pain therapy, they got the idea now, getting the people away from the drugs. They get a special program 3 weeks to get the people away from this daily pain diary. Yeah, that's I think that's a completely wrong mind setting. Well, following the ANOA clinic, I got director of the clinic of physical therapy and rehabilitation at the Bergmannstrost BG Klinik in Halle. I built up this department. I started with 1 assistant doctor and 20 beds, and now I have 92 beds and 10 doctors following me, and we get the full education in physical therapy and rehabilitation medicine. And I also got 1 year of education in trauma and orthopedic surgery and special trauma surgery. Besides this, because all these titles include also, or state boards include also conservative treatment or treatment with orthosis or for amputees. The thing is, following this 2010, I met Mark at the Norddeutsche Orthopäden and Trauma Surgery Congress. Yeah, North German Orthopedic and Trauma Surgery Congress here in Hamburg. This was in the summer of 2013. I think it was in July, and since August 2013, I became a student in his program, and I think since then I missed 4 courses. Like I said yesterday, the one course structure and findings or whatever you named it, where I sent 2 of my assistant doctors because I think I cannot be there as a chief of the department and they're sitting in front of me. They always look, oh, what is the chief doing? So, but yeah, I think I missed 4 or 5 courses since then. And well, I think we got really close friends and we got the same mindsetting and the same vision and dreams to bring chiropractic more to the people and get a better education. And I'm so glad that I could meet Dr. Jill Lamarche here to get some more mindsetting and talking and maybe to put a program together for something maybe like a postgraduate program for medical doctors to achieve a higher level in chiropractic. That's, for me, the important thing. Like Mark always says, we have to raise the bar and look that we serve the people and get them the best treatment who is available or who we are be available to bring to the people. Everybody is on his level on a special education, and the education never ends. And yeah, that's the things we are driven by. And most of things like Hagen and Adrian says, you need something behind you, something who is gonna give you power and empathy, and that's the family behind you to be strong in your profession and to bring things further. And I always believe that a man with dreams and vision is more powerful than a man with a budget and with facts.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I really think if you want to do something and you have dreams and vision and you learn to fight for something with your heart and your soul, you always get more power than a man with facts and budget. And yeah, to build up a department or a clinic, it is a hard time, but the hospital now recognized that they have to build a new clinic for me, and in 2 years I get 60 more beds maybe about acute rehabilitation care. And so I think this business also is growing, and the worker compensations insurance companies, they recognize that if you do a good rehabilitation, this costs them less money, because this is the only insurance part in the healthcare system where they pay for the whole treatment, like from the trauma till being back socialized or back in the job. So they know what they pay for each patient. They know what they pay for an ankle fracture or whatever. So they know the number per case. And they get all the facts, yeah. And maybe they took all the 9 trauma clinics together, and we're like a concern now. We had a medicine concept, and Adrian and me, we're writing in this medicine concept from a different point of view, because he's in the trauma department and I am in the department of rehabilitation. So there may be some, but we're connected, so that won't be a problem. But we wrote for the rehabilitation department or for the rehabilitation care, we wrote all the stuff in that's stimulus for the body, just to recreate self-healing for the human body. So this also includes chiropractic or other things like acupuncturing as well. So we get... People don't understand how significant that is. That's the system. Yeah, and it's written in the system now. And so we get a good fact to bring this to reality. And therefore, we also need maybe people who are going to help us to do a better education.
So, hopefully, the next step, we're going to send this big fella off to Life University and let him use his brain sponge to learn a lot more how to move the big ball forward, because it's easy for me to say because I'm American in Germany. The Germans can't say it as how to really change the system, because the German system really has an effect on the rest of the world. It can in a positive way. And so the traditional way of making changes in things, instead of looking at structure, you start with little things. And what I always tell them is coming back to the experience. Because what the system understands is facts and data. They say, this kind of person, we spend this much money. We'd like to spend this much money, but would that be it? Or is it going to be more over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years? That data has been being collected forever. And the system has those numbers. So, what I want to ask you about is, because you're motivated like I am with the next generation. This is the biggest thing we always talk about. I talk with all of these guys because we all have kids. And it was Klaus that asked me a few years ago when I first met him. And sometimes when chiropractors have heard me talk about this with him, they think it's how I feel about chiropractic. And because he has a son, I have sons, he said, where are you going to send your children to learn chiropractic? And I said, if I'm going to live in Europe, I cannot send them to the States because my wife will go with them. You know, I'd like to send them to my alma mater, but I didn't really want to move back to Atlanta myself, so, because I don't think my wife's just going to let my kids go off on another continent. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I want my kids to earn their education in the system they're in. So I want them to earn a medical degree. Do I want them to practice medicine? Chiropractors think, oh God, that's horrible. And I say, well, I just happen to have a postgraduate program for medical doctors. I've been fine-tuning as a hobby for the last 20 years. So I don't feel 100% confident in every single purely chiropractic pathway. And for me, what I said to him with our kids, I don't want them to have political problems going, but it's also, we're talking about the future. My kids aren't there yet. What situation is where I live going to be like for chiropractic? Because it's pretty much the wild, wild west here, yeah? So all I can influence is equality with whatever it is they do, wherever they learn. Because to me, I think of what I used to hear from Dr. Fred Barge, and unfortunately some of you didn't get to know him. Those of you that did, we were really blessed that there are quotes from Dr. Barge that stuck out at me. One of the big ones was, degree doth not the doctor make. Whatever piece of paper is hanging on the wall is immaterial. And I remember having profound conversations with Dr. Barge for years about this. And since I've been in practice, nobody has ever asked. You know, when I first started a I Love Me wall, and I stopped that. The only thing I have hanging on my wall is my doctorate degree from Life University, because how hard I had to earn it, but nobody cares. Nobody really cares about it but me. It's just up there for me. Nobody ever asks, what grades did you get in this? Did you get this certification? Mostly human beings want to have an experience. You know what I mean? I work in the office with an amazing woman that was trained as a German medical doctor. Nobody ever asks us what degrees we have. They ask other patients, what are you here for? People want to have an experience. People want to be inspired. People want to move forward in life. And how is that going to unfold for my sons? I don't know. I don't know. How's it going to unfold with your son? I don't know. All we can do is try to help them raise a standard for what we're doing too. But this is the core of our motivation. with all of us in here that I know personally is first ourselves and the next generation. And because I can't say what's good for everybody, but we talk about this, if I think something is valuable enough for myself and my family, it's the only standard I have. And I can't practice any differently than what I want to give to my wife, my kids, my friends, people I care the most about. It's just one standard. I'm not smart enough to have multiple. We talk about this all the time, right? Just keeping it simple, just creating a standard. Where's that going to lead? It can't lead to anything bad. What if the standards of everything were somebody's personal standards? What if every place you went, everything you did, there was somebody saying, these are my standards and this is what we're going to offer everybody? The world would be a different place. Most people don't have quality standards of anything. And I think this applies in anything in life, in any profession, that everybody that has standards of everything are the people that are most impactful, right? So for the advice that I like to give young people that come to me for many years is, find something you love to do and figure out a way to make a living off of it. And that is the simplicity of life that's not taught in any school. Because I always talk with people every day, doctors, patients. The two most important things in life are not taught in any schools. What's a pathway to a good life, and what is health? Most people, the average human being, doesn't understand the definition of the word health. And I'm hoping that when we put this out on YouTube and all of you people watching around the world, that we spread the truth like a virus that cannot be treated. Literally, an infectious bacteria of the truth, that nature flows above, down, inside out, and it doesn't matter what you believe. If you get a paper cut on your hand, you don't think you're going to bleed to death. What's the difference on the inside? Nothing. You just can't see it. Health has to do with functioning. Feeling is what we'd like to have in life, but it has nothing at all to do with how we're functioning. And I like to leave people with one simple concept in life, that there is one neuropathophysiological normal and where the human being is at. And how do you get them from here to there? Who cares? And it's a very, very simple concept if applied in every healing art and therapeutic anything. Just that one thing. This is how life should function optimally. This is where the human being in front of you is. Put them on a path to move from here to there. How do you do that the best? Whatever's fun for you and doesn't terrify the human being, so they'll keep coming back and getting more of it. So I'm still working on that. I'm still figured out. I still terrify people every day. But that's just me. It has nothing to do with what I do. I'm still failing every day. And these simple concepts, if the world understood this, if consumers demanded something else, those things that the 7.5 billion people demand will start appearing on menus everywhere. It doesn't matter what we're told to think, what we're told to believe. You can only suppress the truth for so long, because the truth is the truth. And the functioning of life has always been exactly the same. I think too many people try to get involved to have their own ideas of this should be that and should be this. Who cares? There are multiple ways all through human history that human beings have had pathways to take people from where they're at to where normal is. It took me nearly 20 years to answer this one question correctly. Is this normal? I used to have a 10 to 20 minute diatribe that would make people go running until I learned to go, no, healthy's normal. Should you be functioning down here? No. Normal is the optimal functioning of a system. That's normal. You've never been normal. It's where we'd like to get you. We're designed to express 100% life, to function optimally. Why don't we? Why doesn't everybody express 100% life? You first have to know that that is what normal is. Many people just accept wherever they're at. Well, I was just born that way. No, you weren't. You were not designed to be sick. You're only being giving warning signs that this is not where normal is. Normal should be another place. And the truth makes sense to me because I'm not very smart, so I don't overthink things. I think that's the hardest thing with some people, at least people in my life. Most people in my life are much smarter than me, so I have a very simple mind, simple thinking, so I don't look at a wheel and go, that's a good idea, I think I can make it better. I don't have any new ideas. I'm just a hand worker, just a servant. I know I'm nothing, but my boss created the entire planet in under a week. Who are you serving? What is making the changes in what you do in your life? I certainly know it's not me. Klaus knows it's not him. Most of you know it's not you. But most of humanity has never been taught the simple, most important things in life. And this was an awareness I had. I was talking with Dr. Manning about this earlier, about one of the most profound things I ever watched on YouTube was a 12-year-old get up on stage at a TED Talk. And he's talking to adults and he says, you know, I'm asked all the time, what do you want to be when you get older? What do you want to be? And he said, we just want to be happy. Why isn't that taught? I had 25 years of education. I never had a class on happiness. Did any of you ever have a class on happiness? And don't misunderstand, I'm not saying I can teach one because I work on figuring out every day. The point is that what if that was the only standard? Because healthy is happy. It doesn't happen any other way. Health comes first. You have to have health to have happiness. And I would encourage all of you to ask people in your lives every day if you're living the life you've always dreamed of. And if not, what are you waiting for? Why not? We all decide. And it's simple things. And it's easy for me because I'm simple-minded. I don't have really complex thoughts and ideas. I just, under the simplicity of if every human being just found something they loved, doesn't matter what it is. Everything that you could be passionate about, somebody somewhere is making a living at it, no matter what it is. You say, well, I love that, it's just my hobby. Well, find out there's somebody somewhere in some country that makes a living at that. And I'm glad that I had all of you. I'm very thankful and grateful that we had this small, intimate gathering because I just feel it was really, really powerful. And we still have a women's panel coming up. And my wife said to me earlier, maybe you should put a little philosophy in. So I did, and I'm sorry if you didn't want to hear that, but I can't help myself. And I'm never preaching at people. I'm preaching to me. I don't teach philosophy. I just vocalize what I'm reminding this lazy, broken bastard to do every day. And I'm still fighting every day to do it, because every day in the morning I think, if laying on the sofa and watching Netflix could be an Olympic sport, it's never going to happen. But you know what the delusion is? People think they're different than other people. Our similarities are 99.99%. The differences in every human being are statistically irrelevant. Statistically irrelevant. The 700 trillion processes taking place every second in your frontal cortex are the same as mine. How are those things functioning? Depends how you're functioning. How happy are you? How healthy are you? These simple things. So I hope that people that are going to watch these lectures from Discover, because everybody brought an amazing message, I hope it motivates millions and millions of people to want to be inspired to better their lives. How? Who cares? What if everybody wanted to raise their standards in life? How are they going to do that? I don't know. But it's a concept that I think, I was talking with Dr. Rosner the other day, and we're just talking about, we're in a great period of change, and it's like a crossroads of humanity. Some people are just going down this road where I just don't give a crap. And others are searching out. We've never in human history has it been easier to be alive. Never in human history have we had so much scientific data on the best nutrition that human beings could live on. We know so much about biochemistry. We have such great emergency medicine. We've learned so much in the last 20 years about the nervous system. In 1895, when Didi Palmer said, life is based on tone, we've just proven that. Most chiropractors for over 100 years thought Didi was a nut. Life is based on tone. Everything is resonance. Do you know who proved that neurologically? The pharma industry. As much as people say different things they think are evil, there's something beautiful in every system. The pharma industry has had to spend billions on figuring out every single way the neurological system functions in order to build next level treatments. Our neurological understanding in the last 20 years of research is amazing. So, we have in our possession the most amazing knowledge ever available to human beings. So how are so many human beings suffering? Most don't have all that information. So, I appreciate you listening. I want to thank Dr. Fischer, and I want to give everybody a 5-minute break for us to assemble the panel for the women speakers. And I want to thank everybody that came. Thank everybody for listening. Thank all the speakers. So take a little break. We'll see you in a few minutes. Let's give Dr. Fischer a hand.
Please, just let me tell you something. This is my first. This is my first chiropractic event, and I just thank Mark to make it possible to do this here, and just to make it able for me to come here and speak. We have so many fabulous speakers. We have a fabulous auditorium, and I hope we can do this in the future and we can raise the bar. And I think everybody got the message, and Jean-Paul Pianta said it before, doesn't matter about technique, and we don't have any fear. Thank you.